Hi guys, you know it's pretty crazy what you can do with just a deck of cards in two hands. I'm going to show you what. This is Master Misdirection for you today. So before I show you how to do the trick, I'm going to actually perform it for you. So here we go. I want you to tell me when to stop. Stop? Okay. I want you to memorize this card right here. See it? Got it? Good. I'm going to put the deck in right here, right back in the same order that it was in. And now, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thumb through the cards so that you can see that every single card in the deck is different. Because when you do card tricks, and when people know you for doing card tricks, they'll say you have duplicate cards. It's the best excuse they can come up with. And so I decided to add this part into the bit where we say that, where we just thumb through the deck, so that you can see that every card is different. Usually this is done to a group of people, but you can usually see that every single card is different. And so now we finished off the deck. So all 52 cards are different. There are no duplicate cards in the deck. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards, and what I want you to do, or I'm just going to shuffle the cards, and usually I would have the spectator do this, but because you're not here, well, I'm going to do it. So, do it one more time, shuffle the cards. That didn't go very well. So we'll do a little overhand shuffle. So now the cards are, do a little cut. Now the cards are mixed up somewhere in the deck. And now, would you mind telling me whether or not your card was a high card or if it was a low card? We're going to say a high is going to be anywhere from 7 to king, and low will be from 6 to ace. So was it a high card or a low card? Okay. Well then, okay. Tell you what we'll do. Usually I would have you do this, but I'm going to make 4 piles of cards here that are relatively equal. And I want you to pick any 2 piles. These 2? Okay. We'll get rid of those. And now pick any 1 pile. This one? Okay, we'll get rid of that one. So now we're left with this last pile right here. Now, what was your card? 5 of clubs. Alright guys, so I thought it was a pretty neat trick. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. Here we go. So you can have the spectator beforehand shuffle the cards to prove to them that there's no setup, that there's no order to them. And what you can do is you can tell them after they shuffle the cards, I'm not going to mess with the order of the deck of the cards afterward. But here's what you're going to do. You are genuinely, because there's no setup of this trick, you're genuinely doing pretty much everything. So you will have the person tell you when to stop, or you can just cut off a random number of cards. It's up to you. I choose to let the spectator participate as much as possible in a trick. So the way I chose to do it is you kind of riffle through the cards, and when they say stop, you take off that top packet. Now they're going to focus on this card because you're going to push it off, and you're going to tell them, I want you to focus on this card. So needless to say, they'll focus on it. So you have it, ajar out like that. But when you make this motion, you want to try to make this motion. It's a very simple and easy way of, misdirecting the person. But when you do this, when you make this motion, you're going to notice that this pack right here that's in your other hand is facing towards you when you make this motion. So you're going to want to remember this card. It becomes your key card. So needless to say. So then you're going to actually put your key card on top of the spectator's card. And the spectator's card in this case is the 10 of spades. And so you put it right on top of there. So now the cards are in fact in the same order. Well, now you're going to go ahead and you're going to thumb through, and you're going to want to try to thumb through each and every card. And then you can go and say, when I do tricks, people say, you have duplicate cards, and whatever you want to say, whatever will allow you to get through at least most of the deck without there being dead silence, because then it just becomes like an awkward moment for both people. So Then you're going to come to basically this position here. As long as you thumb through like each card individually, you're going to come to for a second or so, you're going to come to this position where you're going to have your key card, and then the spectator's card is going to be right here in your other hand. Well, now is when you know, as the person doing the trick, you know this is their card. So now you can forget about your key card, and now you just want to memorize this 10 of spades in this case. And then you want to thumb through the rest of the deck at relatively about the same speed, because you don't want them to think, because they're going to recognize their card, so you don't want them to think, oh, that's where everything happened, because there went my card. So their attention is automatically going to start really focusing in on you when they see their card, even though you're talking to them. They're going to be like, oh, there went my card. So now you know what their card is, which in this case is the 10 of spades. So now you can have the spectator shuffle the cards. And then again, you can say, I'm not going to mess with the order of the cards in any way afterwards, so we can give the cards a little shuffle. Because now it doesn't matter where their card is in the deck, we know what it is. So now we're going to do the same thing that we kind of did in the push-up card trick. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link to it in the description or in the video. And so then you're going to basically thumb through the deck, and you're looking for their card. You're looking for that 10 of spades. So now we found it. You're not, of course, going to kick it out like that. But then you want to gesture. So you're going to want to automatically, kind of start really going through the deck, kind of fast until you get to their card. And then you're going to want to try to get a gesture here and a gesture in maybe one or two other places as well. That way you don't think anything of it. But you're going to want to make sure that you push off their card. And when you bring the cards back together, this is what it looks like to you. You're pushing their card, and then the cards go, and they're in the same order except for that 10 of spades. So basically you can do what I did, and you can say, okay, so your card, was it high or low? And you can ask them that, and then you can explain it to them in another gesture. But you want to make sure that each time you do the gesture, you want to stay consistent with having a card pushed off. That way they won't think anything of it. Then you're going to have the cards you can have the spectator cut the cards into 4 piles. You're just going to want to keep track of the first pile that goes down. Because of their card being on the bottom, that's always going to be in the first pile. So these other 3 piles don't really matter, but they do in a way. So what you're going to do now is you're going to basically force this pile on them. So you're going to say, okay, pick any 2 piles. If they pick a pile, if of the 2 piles they pick one, they pick the pile that their card is in, you say those are the ones we're going to use. If they don't pick one, then you just say we'll get rid of those. So let's say they pick these 2, we'll say okay, we'll use those, and you get rid of these. Okay, now you're going to want to quickly follow up. Even if you're still straightening up if you're still grabbing those 2 piles, you'll say okay, now pick any one pile. And then if they pick this one, you say that's the one we'll use. If they pick this one, you say we'll get rid of it. Especially if the 2 alter. So let's say they say that they say okay, I want these 2 piles. You say okay, we'll get rid of these. And then they say I want this pile. Then you're going to want to say okay, we'll use that one. And then you want to quickly follow up. So you want to go through this part pretty quickly, because they start to think about which piles they choose, because they want to mess you up. But so you're going to want to go through the piles kind of quickly, and sometimes you'll have people stop you and say, no, I wanted you to get rid of that pile. And so that's why you want to go through it quickly. That way they don't have that thought come up into their mind. don't let them get those words out. So before they can really, say anything, some people will say something, some people won't. And then you're just going to have the last pile, which if you did it correctly, if you force the cards on them correctly, well, their card will always be on the bottom. So you'll say, okay, now what was your card? And you flip over the entire stack. Or you can even, knowing that their card is on the bottom when you shuffle it, you could pull off all cards except that one. You could do basically anything you want. You could control their card from in the pile onto the top and flip over the top card. It doesn't matter. Card tricks are all about modification and putting your own personal spin on everything. So we can run through the trick one more time. So you have the spectator shuffle the cards if you'd like. They shuffle the cards. You say, okay, now tell me when to stop. They say stop. You say, okay, I want you to remember this card. Now while you're telling them to remember that card, they're remembering this card. You flick this on them. And then you say, okay. And then you're going to thumb through each and every each and every card. And you're going to want to go through it at pretty much a good speed. And you can go through, and then you see how you keep going at the same speed. You don't really want to stop too much. And so then you can thumb through all of the cards. And now you're good. And now you can have them shuffle the cards, or you don't have to. It's up to you. And then you can basically you just control their card to the bottom. And you make the 4 piles. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.